I don't know about you guys, but I wish I was a singer. Don't you wish you were a singer? To be able to vibrate and to be able to sing and to be able to communicate such a powerful feeling in the words of a song. They're so amazing. I love Sunny Day and all that she brings to the table. And even though she's not here in person with us, her music still moves my heart and gets to me. So I want to say thank you for that music. I want to say thank you to Reverend Kevin for being the staple behind all activities at Downey Center for Spiritual Living. He is the template in which we fill in the spots as he holds us together and moves us forward every week. It's something to be appreciated and loved, actually, because we need a good template for everything that we do. So thank you, Reverend Kevin. And Practitioner Gary, I want to tell you that I am now an astronaut, that you have now flown me into space, and I've had the opportunity to use my mind to go places. It's like remote viewing. It's like having a vision. It's like visioning. It's like beginning with the end in mind. We all know that concept, but we don't always do that. And I remember the astronauts and the Olympic trainers used to say that they had to go through the process of living out there in the winning, in the space, in order to know that they can do it, that in the event if something came up, they knew how to handle it. And that all leads us into today's talk, which is, and still I rise. Our yearly theme has been timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. The timeless wisdom is always to reach higher, to go for that higher vibration of thought, that higher consciousness that takes you out of the situation, that allows you to see beyond the challenge of the day, the moment of the day. To be able to see beyond this now moment is the power of visioning, to having a vision. And it's an evolutionary vision because your body can only go in the direction you see it going. Reaching higher, and still I rise. Though this may be a very challenging time in my life, in the life of the people that I love, I know that this will either shape me into the person I've always wanted to be or into the person I always feared could come to pass. I can always rise up and let my life empower me. And like Gary said, just move above the earth and see it, the curve to it, and know that we are basically bigger than our physical lives. We are. Or I could get stuck in the pain of what I thought I lost or what I thought I'm going through. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to grieve. And for those of you that don't know, my son passed away 2 months ago, and I am in the grieving process, but I am not going to live in grief. And I hope that makes sense or helps, because and I think this is why my voice is crackling today, because everybody told me, what are you doing talking at church already? And what are you doing? I go, I'm rising up. I'm reaching for the higher thought, for the highest and best feeling in this situation, because the gravity of it will slam my head to the ground if I let it. But I have to work against that gravity to take the love and the memory of my son and create a legend of happiness, hope, prosperity, beauty, and use his life for good, not for pain. I would never want to do that for him or anybody else. One of the quotes that was offered for this is, the man who can control his thought can have and do what he wishes to have and do. Everything is for his asking. And that is the creative mind and success. And I look at that and I go, well, that is true. I can have a higher thought while I'm in the grief, because I can't control the fact that I'm going through grief, but I can control how I feel about that. So I was never taught to meet the challenge with a greater level of intelligence until I was in my 30s. I never knew not to use life as to become victimized. Until I was in my 30s, I always was bouncing or being thrown about by the wind of change. And I was either really happy that this happened or unhappy that that happened. I never knew that the faith of God, the love of God, that there is a higher living that could keep us centered no matter what we were going through. So I asked myself, why was I always so unhappy? Because I have to admit, a lot of my friends, family, and people I know in the industry, a lot of people are unhappy or saying, if I only had this, I'll be happy. And thinking that it was about doing and being. And I have to say that I was unhappy because I was always looking at outside circumstances and then being affected by an outside circumstance that I had no control over. The only thing I had control over is what I said to myself and what I made it mean. And I could either make myself stronger, more courageous, more loving, or I could allow myself to fall apart thinking the world was out to get me. And it's very hard for me to speak like this because all I want to do is be with my son. And I have to be careful what I say because my body, my energy, my spirit is listening. So as humans, we like to think and feel, think and feel, think and feel. It's all about the meaning that we give life and our emotions. And that's an acronym for me, meaning and motion. So it's all about me, right? So the pain is real, the fear is real, the challenge is real. And also who you become a result of that pain, that fear, that challenge is real. And fear will weaken the body, and it's hard to fight or work through something or even have fun if you're feeling weak. So you really want to be able to know that every breath I breathe strengthens me. That I'm not in this alone, that the breath that I breathe is the same breath that you breathe, and that for the love of my friends and the love of my family and the love of myself, I am breathing in the courage that helps me reach higher. So what if it was true that everything that we teach in Science of Mind, what if it was true? What if there is only one power, one presence, one love, God, and that God is eternal? What if? What if we were actually a change agent, that we have the power to change? So I had to think about that. In order to be a change agent, we had to know that we were greater than our environment. We have to be greater than what we feel in our bodies. We have to be greater than time, the time that we're experiencing right here. And we really, really have to embrace and embody that we're a spiritual being having a human experience, that we are life eternal. And that doesn't mean that pain, fear, and challenges do not have power over us, because they temporarily do. They can have power over us. But we fight and work through them until we surrender to something higher, something greater. And that is the truth, is my own intelligence that knows. The truth is, I know I'm just fighting myself. I know I'm fighting myself and what I'm making this mean. It's not everybody else's fault. It's what I'm saying to myself and what I'm making it mean. So I ultimately have the power to feel and to do and to have a more peaceful experience as I go through, as though I walk through the valley of death. I have the power to know that God is walking in me, through me, as me, for me at every moment of my life and every moment of our lives. So I watched a couple of videos that were suggested by the person that helps us with our weekly talks and our monthly themes and our yearly theme as we move through our talks and services. And one of the questions they said, are you all in? Are you all in? Are you all in to being happy? Or are you all in to living your life? Are you all in to not hiding behind fear and pain and, oh, it's difficult? The dedication to living happy takes effort. Tony Robbins says that the only problem that we have in life is that we think we shouldn't have problems. Problems and difficulties make us grow. And outside circumstances can put us in a ditch, but our thinking, our will to live will help us get out of those ditches of pain. And who and what are we calling ditches anyway? Because we have to use people, places, and things in order to feel bad. And we love our lives, we love each other more than using them to hurt, right? Wouldn't you agree with me that we want to love people, not hurt people? And I keep telling everybody that I need you to speak words of encouragement in and around and about me. I need that right now because the weight of my own thinking can be too much. Does that make sense? Ah, my son's going to be rich. So another quote by Ernest Holmes is, there is a divine urge within everyone to know more, to be more, and to express more. And I have found that the thing we're searching for is the thing we are searching with. So it's like the fish that's swimming around in the water looking for water. We are immersed in God, sustained, maintained, vitalized, and animated in and through and as God. Not that we are all the almighty. I don't know if I can create a universe. My limited thinking says that I am lived in and through. The Holy Spirit lives in me. That's what my limited thinking can be. But the truth is that when we reach higher and we surrender higher, all is available to us. God always says yes. But what's the question we're asking God? Is it my fault? Yes. Yes, it's your fault. And here's all the evidence. That's what your nervous system will do for you. Yes, is there an answer to recover from this, to move through this, and to provide hope and love for myself and other? The universe says yes. So the universe is always saying yes. God is always saying yes. We have to figure out what we're asking. And we want to retell our stories that will reflect the good of God, because life is eternal, right? And look at all the heroes that we have in our life. Everybody has a hero, and every hero has gone through something tough. Two of the examples that they used is Buddha. Buddha was being protected by his father, so he didn't have to experience pain and suffering. What did Buddha do? He climbed the wall and went out into the environment and lived his life to discover it for himself, even though he was told pain and suffering is out there. For us to live vicariously through people, we can experience life, but to be enriched and empowered and to gain wisdom of knowledge is to live the life itself. Joan of Arc was 14 years old when she ran straight into battle to fight for something she believed in. I'm not asking anybody to run into something and fight. I'm asking you to reveal the courage and the passion that is already in you to fight for something, to be passionate about something, to have a vision for something in your life. Life is pain, and anybody who tries to tell us different than that is trying to sell us something so that we could feel good. Now, everybody knows that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So life is painful, but you don't have to suffer, because with pain builds courage, it develops wisdom, it allows you to feel and see what's important to you. And in my philosophy class, I've shared this with you before. Socrates said that we die in each other's lives and live in each other's deaths. I really encourage everyone to be at peace with that, because death is very much a part of life. It is just as much as part of life as being born. And it's not easy, but it's true. Gary, it's not easy, but it's true. Uh-oh.
You get it?
No.
That was easy.
So it wasn't that easy, but it got across, right? Thank you, Gary. We just decided to do this a little while ago, that life is not easy. There's never been a recorded time in history where it was all unicorns and butterflies and angels playing harps. It's always been learning, growing, finding out what's true. Sometimes you find happiness in life. Sometimes you represent happiness for others after life. But it's all, if you take the easy way, it's not always the best way for you. We all want to use the easy button. I remember when I started in sales and I started traveling around the world, no matter where I was at, no matter what part of the world or what conference I was at, the attendants of people were always in a rush. They would always stand in line and wait for an available elevator while the presenters and the coaches would take the stairs. And I noticed that and I go, well, that's very interesting. They always want, what's the quickest and easiest way to get there? When the people that have been there know it's in every step you take that takes you to the next highest level, that allows you to own the level that you're at, because the experience of stepping through it, that you gain the wisdom and the courage and the strength and the stamina. It gives you sustaining power for each level that you reach. And you're never going to reach the top, because the top can always be topped. So to reach for something or to try and have something that is never, because life has in your body, in your nervous system, we have a part of us that is always evolving and growing. So there's always going to be something more. In the Bible, and I know this isn't easy for a lot of you to hear, but in the Bible, out of all the disciples, Peter was the most dedicated, but he wasn't the smartest one, in my ever so humble opinion. He wanted to fight the soldiers. He wanted Jesus to get out of town. Hey, I heard a rumor in town. They're going to crucify you tomorrow. Let's go. Let's get out of here before we all die, right? And then when the soldiers showed up, he wanted to fight, even after talking to Jesus about this. And Jesus stayed up all night praying and talking with God. If this cup can pass, please let it. But if I'm going to go through this, give me the strength to bear the crucifixion so that there may be a resurrection. So even though what you're going through is painful and it is hard, know that there's still life coming through it, that life is eternal, that we are here to represent the love and the faith and the belief in God that we each own for ourselves and others. Peter wanted to hit the easy button. Jesus knew that taking the stairs was the way to go. That life is for the experience. Don't make it easy. You can run, but you can't hide. Everywhere you go, there you are. You remember those old bumper stickers when they first started coming? Everywhere you go, there you are. Oh, it used to drive me crazy. And our easy buttons give us comfort. They give us options. My easy button that I've used in the past, don't judge me by my vulnerability, but food, booze, sex, shopping, denial, having a snarky attitude, those were my easy buttons. Learning to be still.
That was easy.
No, it wasn't, but it was fun, some of it. But still, you made me laugh. Now I forgot where.
Sorry.
That's okay. So all of those things were easy. It was easier for me to drown my sorrows. It was easier for me to go and hook up and have a distraction. It was easier for me to go buy something only to come home and see that I had 3 that look a lot like it. It was easy for me to distract myself. I don't know if any of you have read this. This is my favorite book in the world. It's The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. And it talks about heaven and hell. And it talks about a place where people don't know that they're in hell, that they've died. And every day they have an opportunity to take a bus to heaven, but they won't give up their pet peeves in order to acclimate to heaven. And it's a little meaty book, 130 pages. But one of the things, because I just recently went and saw the play because I love the book so much, but one of the things that popped out for me this time, instead of the 12 times I read the book, is that hell is a noun and heaven is a verb. So heaven is something that you do. Heaven is a desire and an action, and there's always desire and action in life. But that desire and action takes you to that higher reach, where hell is where you live in the tangible. I want to build it. I want to feel it. Anything you can see, hear, feel, and touch is a tangible, and it can be used for heaven or hell. But you just know that heaven is a verb, and that we should stay away from the easy buttons. And I was noticing that in one of the talks, it's talked about a woman that wanted to save her son from pain and wanted to keep him away from everything that would hurt him. She was trying to raise him that way. And the lady she was telling it to said, "What kind of son do you want to raise?" And she goes, "I want to raise a kind, wise, and very resilient son." And she goes, "Okay, well, let me ask you another question. What does life offer your son that helps him become kind, wise, and resilient?" And those are the challenges, the fears he faces, and the losses that we acquire that are working through those that make you kind, wise, and resilient. So the conclusion of that is that she was trying to protect her son from the one thing that could make her son be kind, wise, and resilient. And avoiding pain is not the way. Pain is like fertilizer. You know, it helps you grow. But if you hold on to the pain and you hoard the pain and you create a warehouse storage of pain fertilizer, it becomes combustible. And when that hits, that's when everybody says, well, the feces hit the fan, didn't it? Right? A little bit of fertilizer will help your garden grow. Too much will burn your plants. Let it go. Use it wisely to help nourish and feed you, but don't hold on to it. You can't outrun loneliness and pain, but you can still know that you are God's very own and reach higher. Be still for 5 minutes and build up a tolerance to being quiet and still. Be comfortable in your uncomfortableness and learn to manage your emotions that you can be a beneficial presence for yourself and others on this planet. See your fear, yes, but know your spirit is bigger than your fear. Your courage is bigger. Your God is bigger than your fear. When you face the fear and you say, I can't, when you don't face your fear, when you say things like, I can't go there, it hurts too much. I can't talk to that person, it hurts too much. I can't think about that, it hurts too much. You're building a small little prison of pain, and your body starts to ache and you start to get sick. and you hold the key and you look out the bars of your prison and you shake your bars and say, somebody help rescue me, while you're holding the key. And people come by and they try to say things and they try to comfort you and they try and fix you. And when they realize they can't, they stay away because it hurts them to see you in pain and know there's nothing they can do. Free yourself. Reach for that higher vibration, that higher thought, and still rise. So I wanted to read Maya Angelou's And Still I Rise poem, and that will be my closing prayer. So a couple of them that I read, that I Googled and searched for, one of them says, does my sassiness upset you? And the other one says, my sexiness upset you? So I'm choosing to use the poem that says sexiness because we're all sexy beings. So this is it. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wheels pumping in my living room, oil wells, just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing forward or high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed my head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds in the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Out of the past that's rooted in pain I rise. I am a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear the tide. Leave behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear I rise, bringing the gifts of my ancestors gave. I dream the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. And I apologize for crying, but I don't really, because that's just how God made me. I am a very kinesthetic person, but I want you to know that I know I'm hard on myself. And I know sometimes my communication can be direct, but I want you to know that I am brave enough to walk this path. Hold my hand while I run this race. I am here for you as you have been here for me. Thank you very much today. I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you. God bless.